Good evening and welcome to Fifth Third Field here in Toledo, Ohio, the home of the Toledo Mud Hens, the AAA affiliate of the Detroit Tigers. They are getting set, the Lake Erie Monarchs are, to face the Irish Hills Leprechauns in a rare battle between these mitten foes. I'm Kevin Peel. Thanks so much for tuning in to this broadcast here tonight between the 13-17 Monarchs and the 15-15 Leprechauns. What a blessed view we have for tonight's ball game. It is a hot one here in downtown Toledo, and the contest and the race for the North Division continues to heat up, as both these teams will have just 10 games remaining after play is complete here today. The Monarchs enter a bit of a ways back in the standings right now, trying to crawl their way back into it, needing a strong finish to get themselves into at least third place. Monarchs come in 6 games back right now of the St. Clair Green Giants, who lead the division. On the other side of things for Irish Hills, they are just 4 games back, entering play here today at 500. It should be a great contest here, and we really appreciate you all tuning in to this broadcast. Caleb Balgard is in the right-hand batter's box. He is ready to face Pierce Banks. We are ready for baseball on a pristine night in Toledo, Ohio. The first pitch is thrown. It is strike one, a fastball over the outside corner at the knees. And we are underway today at 6:12 with our first pitch, about 7 minutes late. Now the next one, low and outside. 1-1 the count on Caleb Balgard. Balgard from the University of Indiana. He is a Hoosier, and he is white hot lately. 4 homers in his last 6 games. Swing and a miss, chasing a high fastball. He was thinking about going yard there. And the count is now a ball and 2 strikes. Balgard with a .354 average. It's a team high, 4 homers, 15 RBIs. And the 1-2 swung on and missed on a ball that bounced into the left-handed batter's box. Throw down to first was a little wayward, but able to step on the bag is Adam Furness off the throw from Nick Neibauer. And that's the first out here in the top of the first. Let's take a peek at the defensive alignment for the Irish Hills Leprechauns. It goes as follows. Suarez in left, Pilot in center, Parks in right, Miller and Freiling guarding the left side of the infield at third and short, Pellis and Furness the right side, Banks and Neibauer the battery here today, Gunnar Rainey the designated hitter. Here's Jordan Nwogu, the lone all-star starter on this Monarchs roster. Fastball outside, ball 1. Jordan is the designated hitter today. .321 average, 4 homers and 17 RBIs. That was before yesterday's game, in which he went 0 for 3. Swing and a miss as he foul tipped that one into the mitt. A ball and a strike. So that average went down just a little bit, but Nwogu was able to get on base twice via a hit by pitch and a walk. 1-1. Line drive, left center. That's heading towards the alleyway. It's down and rolling a long way. Nwogu's on his way to second. He might be thinking third. Here he goes. He's chugging towards third base. The throw comes into the cutoff man, Pellis. And Jordan Nwogu has himself a triple with 1 out here in the top of the first. A good start for the Lake Erie Monarchs. Jordan Nwogu gets his first 3-base hit of the season. That is the 6th triple for the Monarchs here in 2018. A line drive that found the left center field alleyway. So Nwogu in prime position to score. That brings up Alex Lambo from Loyola Marymount, starting shortstop here today in the 3-hole. He'll swing and miss for strike 1. Alex Lambo with a .303 average, 2 homers and 14 RBIs entering play today. Monarchs lost yesterday 18-1 to the Leprechauns. They were embarrassed on the road. 0-1 from Pierce Banks is outside, a ball and a strike. And so the Monarchs, who have now dropped the first 3 in this season series, have already lost the season series, in fact. Will try and salvage at least 1 here today. 1-1. Lambo cuts and misses. Fastball that was off the plate, tailing down towards the ankles that Lambo couldn't lay off of. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lambo has also walked 9 times, appearing in his 29th game for the Monarchs, which is a team high. 1-2, popped up foul. That one's heading over the roof and out of play here at Fifth Third Field. What a setting for baseball here tonight. Got a tall fence in left field, I'd say about 20 foot high. 320 down the line in left. 1-2. And it's high and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Alex Lambo. 365 also to the TAS Electronics sign in left field, just to the right of the massive scoreboard at fifth third field. 2-2 to Lambo. Just high. Able to lay off it was the starting shortstop. Full count. In the alleyway, it's 406. That's pretty close to where Jordan Nwogu hit the baseball a few moments ago. 406 to dead center field with a towering batter's eye. 3-2 liner, left field down, base hit. First run of the game coming in. Nwogu trots home. Lambo picks up his 15th run of the season. Batted in, that is. And the Monarchs have a 1-0 lead here in the top of the first. Boy, the last 2 baseballs have been spanked off the bats of Nwogu and Lambo, and they get the Monarchs on the board early. Crucial after falling behind the way they did, 4-0 in the first inning of yesterday's game against Irish Hills. They didn't really give themselves a chance. Robert Bell will take strike 1. So there's 1 out here in the top of the first, and a man at first for Robert Bell. Starting first baseman here today, and also our pregame show guest, hitting .333 with 3 homers and 17 RBIs. Quick throw to first. Tag not applied, although Lambo was a little late getting back. Base coaches today for the Monarchs. It is Dale Gray at first base, of course, the former Irish Hills Leprechaun skipper, and Bradley Merritt is in the third base coach's box, the pitching coach. 0-1 high and tight to Bell. Even up the count at a ball and a strike. Bell making his 25th appearance in a Monarchs uniform. 23 for 69 to start the season. 1-1. Ground ball, and it's knocked down by Furness, but it'll roll into right field. As he couldn't quite corral it. And that should be a hit, and it will be for the third consecutive hit of the game for the Monarchs. Robert Bell cracking that ground ball down the right field line. Lambo's up to second. And the Monarch charge continues here in the top of the first, with just 1 down and a run in, ahead 1-0. Now the batter, Casey O'Laughlin, gets the start in center field tonight, hitting 5th. Pitch. Low and outside from Pierce Banks, ball 1. Casey O'Laughlin swatting .288, 1 singular long ball in the year, 10 RBIs. Banks works from the first base side of the rubber. 1-0 is a broken bat. Fly ball hit to right field. Backing up on it, Parks, and he's short of the track and he'll make the catch. Lambo tagging up, heading to third base. He'll be in there safely. Bad break for Casey O'Laughlin, because if that wasn't a broken bat, it maybe would have had a chance to go off that fence in right field. Looked like it was hit pretty well, but the bat just shattered in his hands, and the barrel went flying into foul ground on the first base side. 2 outs now, top of the first. Monarchs ahead 1-0. Runners at the corners. And that brings up the right fielder, Andrew Dyke. .259 batting average for Dyke. 3 homers, 9 RBIs. Righty-righty matchup. Banks, the righty pitcher, delivers high and tight. Ball 1 to Andrew. Continuing with the dimensions of this ballpark, 406. And between the Tireman and McDonald's signs out to the right of the batter's eye. Quick throw over to first. Bell back in safely. So in the alleyway, it's between 406 and 370, and then the wall kind of juts in right field near the Pepsi sign. You have 341 in the corner. Swing and a miss. Andrew Dyke now with a 1-1 count. Toledo Mud Hens used to play at Ned Skeldon Stadium, which was down in Maumee, Ohio at the Lucas County Fairgrounds. 1-1. And it's well outside. 2 balls and a strike on Andrew Dyke. Before things changed, they built this ballpark here in the early 2000s, and the Mud Hens have quite a gem to play in each and every night. 2-1 to Dyke. Fastball outside corner. Strike 2. Pierce Banks from Adrian College, 6 foot, 185 pounds. A sophomore from Sterling Heights, Michigan. Monarchs have seen him before. And a throw over to check the base runner, Robert Banks. rubber bell, and he's back in safely. And the pitch. And Andrew Dyke will line one to the screen behind home. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Although the Monarchs saw him in the exhibition game, Pierce Banks did not see him in the opening 2 contests. Now Dyke with a ground ball into left field. That's going to score another. Dyke drives in a run as Lambo comes in to score. Bell up to second, and Dyke is at first base with an RBI single, his 10th run batted in of the season. Monarchs add on their 4th hit of the inning. It's 2-0. Just finding space was Andrew Dyke. The shortstop, Freiling, was playing a little bit closer to the second base bag, and that helped Andrew Dyke, who poked that one to normally where the shortstop would be playing. Now Zach Schwarzenberger with a fly ball hit towards left, coming in. Suarez still coming in, has to go down to his knees to make the catch, and does so for the final out here in a productive top of the first for the Lake Erie Monarchs. They score 2 on 4 hits. They'll leave 2 men on. Bottom of the first coming up, the Monarchs with an early lead, the Leprechauns in an early hole as they come to bat for the first time, 2-0. You are listening to Lake Erie Monarchs Baseball. Bottom of the first inning, and ball 1 is issued to Noah Suarez to start things off for the Leprechauns. They're down 2-0 as the Monarchs have the lead. Lane Schnitz-Paxton comes home with a pitch. A hard ground ball will roll foul to the right of Dylan Hamilton, the skipper for the Irish Hills Leprechauns, 1-1. Monarchs getting 2 runs on 4 hits in the top of the first inning. It was all started by a Jordan Nwogu triple to get them off on the right foot. Lane Schnitz-Paxton, the starter today from the University of Toledo, 6'3", 215 pounds, a junior from Napoleon. 1-1 is high and tight, 2 balls and a strike. Napoleon, Ohio, that is. And Napoleon is about 25 miles southwest of Toledo. 2-1. Suarez fights one off to the backstop behind home. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Noah Suarez had the day off yesterday, but he's hitting .287 with a homer and 7 runs batted in. And he was a big problem for the Monarchs to handle in the opening series between these two teams played in Flat Rock. 8-6 and 7-2 wins for the Leprechauns. 2-2 gets him out of the way. Had to duck did Suarez to avoid getting plunked. 3-2. Sun is out. It is still very warm here in Toledo tonight. 3-2. And Suarez with a pop-up into right center field. Coming over Dyke. Also O'Loughlin will be Dyke's ball, and he'll make the catch. Initial out here in the bottom of the first inning for Lane Schnitz-Paxton. Let's look at the defense behind him. Zach Schwarzenberger in left, Casey O'Loughlin in center, Andrew Dyke is in right, Caleb Balgard at third, Alex Lambeau at short, Will Prater at second, Robert Bell, the first baseman. Battery of Lane Schnitz-Paxton, the hurler, and Griffin Mazer, the catcher. Here's Thomas Miller. Gets the start at third base today, hitting in the 2-hole. Miller with a ground ball fouled on the third base line. No balls and a strike. Boy, Miller has really been a menace. Going into last night's game, he was averaging .358 with a homer and 13 RBIs. And then last night happened, and all those numbers improved pretty substantially. 0-1. Fastball blazes the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. Miller last night getting on base 4 times. And he'll ground one over to third. Charging Balgard, has time, whips it across, and it gets underneath the glove of Robert Bell down the first base line. Thomas Miller will get into second base off of the error, which will go against Caleb Balgard, a throwing error. That could be on the catch, too, against Robert Bell, who did not catch that one. It didn't hit the dirt. It just not handled properly, and it's an error for the Monarchs. Thomas Miller started off last night's game reaching on an error, and so that's an eerie feeling for the Monarchs to have that happen here tonight. E5 given to Caleb Balgard. Man's at second base with 1 down, and now a pop-up hit by Gunnar Rainey down into foul ground near the seats. Caleb Balgard investigating, and it goes through 3 rows deep here at Fifth Third Field. No balls and a strike on Gunnar Rainey. Rainey, his average, impressive. His top 5 in the league. .384 with a homer and 17 runs batted in. He had 4 RBIs yesterday. 2-run double in the 4th, 2-run single in the 8th. In the 18-1 triumph. Everyone was getting involved for the Leprechauns last night, helping out. Lane Schnitz-Paxton comes set, working from the first base side of the rubber with the man on second. And the 0-1. Curveball outside and low. Ball and a strike on Gunnar Rainey. Surprisingly for the Leprechauns today, and maybe frustratingly for Max Mahone, who is one of the North Division All-Stars, he is not playing in this game. He's not starting. 1-1 popped up, heading our way, over our heads, foul, and onto the roof above the press box. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count on Gunnar Rainey. Gained some new baseballs as our home plate umpire. Monarchs in the visiting grays as they are the road team for this tilt at Fifth Third Field. 1-2 is aired right side, heading foul, and that will go into the netting, which is right behind the first base dugout. So Rainey keeps kicking, a ball and 2 strikes. Monarchs with the tri-colored cap, green on the back with the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League logo, blue on the sides, navy blue, white on the front with the Monarchs head logo. Smiling monarch, if you will. And then the blue lid. Gray jerseys and trousers with navy blue undershirts. Schnitz-Paxton coming set in his uniform. 1-2, grounded down the third base line, but just foul. Rainey was a little out in front of it. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes. 1 down here in the bottom of the first. A man at second, 2-0 Monarchs. Green stirrups once again for the Monarchs. They always sport them, and they always rock them. With the 2 white stripes, a navy blue stripe in the middle of those 2 white stripes. Vertically, they move. The 1-2. Curveball high and tight Sixth pitch of the at-bat is ball 2. Count is 2-2 on Gunnar Rainey. Gain his lead at second is Thomas Miller. Can't seem to stay off the bases against the Monarchs here this year. 2-2 pitch. Again, a foul ball by Gunnar. 5 foul balls in the at-bat. A lot of contact against Lane Schnitz-Paxton. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So I said it's a warm night. It's still 90 degrees here a little after 6 p.m. today. South winds at 7 miles an hour, which is blowing from right to left. So slightly in towards home plate. And it feels like almost 100. 2-2. This one's popped up. This will stay in fair territory. Dyke, Prater, Bell all converging. Bell makes the catch, and Prater collides into Bell and is slow to get up. Will Prater from Western Carolina colliding with Robert Bell. Bell being an outfielder, impressive to see him hold on to the baseball with some contact from his teammate, but everyone looks to be okay. Andrew Dyke, the right fielder, making sure everyone is okay. And the good news is we'll continue the baseball game with all the players that were on the field still out there. Man still at second. That's Thomas Miller. 2 down in the first, 2-0 Lake Erie. And here is Tommy Pellis, starting second baseman. Ball 1 low. Pellis with 4 home runs, 28 RBIs on the season. At batting average in the 370s. He had 2 two-run homers, 1 to left and 1 to right yesterday. 1 out. And Pellis will knack one foul to the backstop. A ball and a strike. So he was one of a line of Leprechauns that Monarchs pitchers did not want to see yesterday. Though he did strike out once in 5 plate appearances. Paxton from the stretch, a 1-1, threw it by him. Strike 2. Sun will be up for quite some time. In fact, it may not even be dark by the time this contest comes to an end here today, with us getting the start at 6 as opposed to 7 here in downtown Toledo. 1-2 to Pellis. Curveball, rung him up. Strike 3. Down goes Pellis. Lane Schnitz-Paxton is able to sidestep an error and leave a man on base. He collects his first strikeout. At the end of 1, it's Monarchs 2, Leprechauns nothing. You are listening to Lake Erie Monarchs Baseball on monarchsradio.com. Lake Erie Monarchs baseball here on the internet. Strike 1 delivered to Will Prater. Start things off here in the top of the second. Monarchs with the 2-0 lead. Will Prater, 224 average, 3 RBIs. Tries to slap a bunt down the third base line. Missed it for strike 2. Prater gets the start at second base today for the Monarchs. Batting on the left side against the righty Pierce Banks. 0-2, high and away. Good waist pitch. Makes it a ball and 2 strikes. Monarchs collecting 4 hits in the opening inning. 1-2, that might be number 5. It's headed towards right center. It will drop for a base hit. Overrunning the baseball was Pilot. On his way to second is Prater, and he's going to get there safely with a double. And so Will Prater will pick up another double this year for him. That's number 3. Hit number 5 for the Monarchs. Just a ball that Preston Pilot flat out overran in right center field. Looked like he was playing shallow and had to somewhat descend while moving towards right center field. And so it turns into a 2-base hit instead of just a single. Good start to the inning. Now Griffin Mazer, catcher. Ball 1 low. 1-0. Griffin from University of California, Irvine, hitting .209, 2 homers and 8 RBIs. Top 2, 2-0, Lake Erie. 1-0. Upstairs, 2 balls and no strikes on Griffin Mazer. California boy coming east to play his summer collegiate baseball as he'll head into his sophomore campaign at UC Irvine as an anteater next year. Mazer, the open stance, 2-0. Inside corner at the knees for strike 1. Good fastball from Pierce Banks. Sterling Heights, which is where Pierce Banks is from, is near Detroit, a little bit north. One of the big suburbs. Upcoming sophomore is Banks at Adrian College. And his numbers, at least in the win column, have been pretty spectacular here in 2018, although he hasn't pitched since June 30th. 2-1 is fouled off by Mazer towards the third base dugout of the Leprechauns. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 4-0 record for Banks. His ERA is at 4.35, although it's jumped a little bit by allowing 2 runs in the first inning. This is his 5th start. He's thrown 20 2/3 innings, 17 strikeouts, 6 walks, and 30 hits allowed. Break even. Low and away. 3-2 on Griffin Mazer, with Will Prater getting his lead over there at second base. It was a road victory for Pierce Banks back on June 30th. Last day in the month of June. 3-2, Mazer takes outside. He's able to coax a walk out of Banks. First free pass issued out. A double and a walk start off the events here in the top half of the second, with the Monarchs in the lead 2-0. And that'll bring up Caleb Balgard, who struck out to begin that active top of the first for Lake Erie. Banks threw 5 innings in a win in Muskegon against the Clippers back on the 30th. Pitch to Balgard, foul tipped off the mask of Nick Neibauer, the catcher for the Leprechauns. No balls and a strike. 4 runs, 3 earned. 8 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Faced 25 over those 5 frames in what was a winning effort. He's won all 4 starts he has made, although he is in a hole early here in start number 5. 0-1, line drive missiled towards left field. Descending on it is Suarez. It's one hopping the fence. Prater's heading for home. He's going to score. Mazer up to third. He's in sliding. It's an RBI double for Caleb Balgard, who continues to tear the cover off the baseball here in the second half of the summer season. He picks up another RBI, does Balgard. His 17th. And the Monarchs lead it 3-0 here in the top of the second. Baseball just flying everywhere off of Pierce Banks here today. And there's still nobody out. Now bring up Jordan Nwogu. And a breaking ball inside and low to him is blocked nicely by Neibauer, 1-0. Nwogu got the rally going in the first. He tripled to left center and then would score the next batter with an Alex Lambo RBI knock. Infield stays back, 1-0. Fly ball torn towards deep left center field. Pilot and Suarez going back, and Suarez will make the catch. Make it Pilot will make the catch at the warning track. Coming across to score is Griffin Mazer. Staying at second base is Caleb Balgarn. Sacrifice fly for Jordan Nwogu to drive in his 18th run of the season. Monarchs 4, Leprechauns nothing, top of the second. That was no cheapie of a sac fly. And so now some action going to start warming up down the third base line for the Leprechauns. So they might be worried about Pierce Banks, who's allowed 2 runs in each of the first 2 innings. Breaking ball stays downstairs to Lambo, ball 1. Lambo with an RBI single in the first. Balgard not being held very closely at second, has a decent lead behind Banks. 1-0. Inside corner at the knees, perfectly located for strike 1. Monarchs already up to 6 hits here tonight, 2 in this inning. And already 2 extra base hits. 1-1 at the knees, outer half. 1-2 to Lambo. A white puffy cloud or 2 up ahead on a beautiful night for baseball here in Toledo. Memorable night for these kids. 1-2 at the knees, rung him up, strike 3. Lambo K's second strikeout for Pierce Banks, and he now has 2 outs here in the visiting half of the second. Monarchs 4, Leprechauns nothing. The next man up is Robert Bell, who singled off the glove of Adam Furness, the first baseman, in the first inning. He would later be stranded. Pitch outside to Bell, ball 1. Bell with a brown handle and an orange barrel on his bat here today. Kind of a Bowling Green-esque like baseball bat. Falcons colors. 1-0. And it's low. 2 balls and no strikes. But Robert Bell is a Bethune-Cookman Wildcat, playing competitive baseball in the state of Florida against big schools. Well, Stetson isn't a big school, but they're a competitive school. Miami, Florida. 2-0, taken for a strike. 2 balls and a strike on Bell. So cool that he plays his home games at a minor league ballpark. So I really wanted to interview him today, and we have it. Pregame show on Facebook and Twitter. You can find it there. 2-1, a little nubber over to second. Pellis charging and moving towards the line. We'll pick it up and toss on to first for the final out. And another productive inning for the Monarchs. They get 2 runs on 2 hits, and will leave a man on. Middle of the second inning, Monarchs, they lead it 4-0. You're listening to Monarchs Baseball on monarchsradio.com. Hit by a pitch is Josh Parks to begin the bottom of the second inning. 4-0 Monarchs already leading, as Lane Schnitz-Paxton allows the first man of the inning to get on base. Monarchs already with 6 hits and way more offensive production than they had all of last night. Just a single tally on a Caleb Balgard homer, and that was all. It's Paxton's first one at the knees, and outside edge for strike one to Nick Neibauer. Neibauer, starting catcher today for the Irish Hills Leprechauns. 255 average, 8 RBIs. Pitch low, ball 1. And Neibauer is getting the start today as the catcher. Did not play yesterday. 1-1. Runner takes off. It was a hit and run, and it's fouled off of the suite level here at Fifth Third Field, and will go crashing down into the bull seating underneath home. A ball and 2 strikes with nobody out. Lane Schnitz-Paxton with a nice lead to work with on this Sunday evening before the All-Star break. What a way to cap it off. Runner takes off on the 1-2. It's outside, ball 2. Mazer with a good throw. The tag, and the man is out. Josh Parks is gunned down, and he is not an easy man to catch. He was 11 for 12 coming in on stealing bases this year. He's now 11 for 13 as he's cut down. Perfect tag from Prater. And there's now 1 out. Erase the leadoff hit batsman. 2-2, high and outside. Count fills up on Nick Neibauer, 3-2. Griffin Mazer was all over that. I don't think it was necessarily a pitch out, but it worked out that way. 3-2, tapped foul to the third base dugout of the Leprechauns. Full count remains. Leprechauns today in the camouflage jerseys like they had on yesterday with the Leprechaun script on the front. Green numbers on the back. White trousers with green stripes. Payoff, rung him up. Sit down, Nick Neibauer. Curveball inside corner at the knees. 2 strikeouts looking for Lane Schnitz-Paxton through the first 6 batters of the game. And just like that, there are 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th. Now bring up Zach Freiling. Freiling with a ground ball over to third. Balgard fields it chest high. His toss across is true. And Lane Schnitz-Paxton works around a hit batsman, faces the minimum here in a 9-pitch bottom of the 2nd. That's how you get it done. Through 2, the Monarchs have themselves a 4-0 lead. You are listening to Lake Erie Monarchs Baseball on monarchsradio.com. Monarchs reigning right now. 4-0 the score. Top of the 3rd inning set to begin. Pierce Banks still out there, although he has struggled against this Monarchs lineup, allowing the 4 runs. all of them earned, and 6 hits through 2 innings. 5, 6, and 7 in the order. Casey O'Loughlin to lead off the pitch. And O'Loughlin will cut and miss over the top of a changeup. No balls and a strike. O'Loughlin had a bit of a bad break in the first. He broke his bat, flew out to right field. 0-1. And he's hit by a pitch. It looked like on the back, on his right side, just above his belt. Second hit batsman we've seen of the game. That's the first one for Pierce Banks, however. One also for Lane Schnitz-Paxton on the other side. Leadoff man on for the Monarchs. Second straight inning that has happened. 2 runs in each of the first 2 innings for the Monarchs offensively. And again, they're quickly putting pressure on Banks. Pitch to Dyke. Fastball up. Ball 1. Dyke singled home a run with 2 outs in the top of the first inning. A well-placed ground ball to put the Monarchs ahead further. He'll pop one up, foul, slightly to the right of home and heading into the second level of seeding here at Fifth Third Field in Toledo. A ball and a strike. Monarchs have done a lot of cool things as an organization throughout their time. Of course, they've played at Ned Skeldon Stadium. Throw over to Check O'Loughlin. He's back in just safely. He went in standing and essentially tripped over the bag, but he was also late getting back. Fortunately, no harm, no foul, and O'Loughlin will take his lead. 1-1. Runner takes off. It's a strike. They throw down. O'Loughlin's dead meat. He's out. Curveball thrown by Banks. It just wasn't a good jump. And now the bases will be empty with 1 out for Andrew Dyke here in the third. 4-0 Monarchs. Had the right idea, did Bradley Merritt. Loves to be aggressive. He's in now a couple weeks into being the third base coach. Dyke lines one back to the screen. Ball and 2 strikes with 1 out here in the top of the third. And Dale Gray, the first base coach, he's been aggressive at times on the base paths throughout his years. The Michigan Monarchs and the Irish Hills Leprechauns. 1-2, and Dyke fans for strike 3. Missing a slider, moving away from him. 3 strikeouts for Pierce Banks. He has 1 in each of the first 3 innings. 2 outs, top 3, 4-run lead for the Monarchs. And here's Zach Schwarzenberger, who flew out to left his first time up. Took the first pitch he saw and flew out to left. Schwarzenberger lowering that 243 batting average a bit. Has 5 RBIs, swing and a miss, strike 1. Switch hitting left fielder, hometown kid from the University of Toledo. 0-1. Curveball, knees, inside corner. Perfectly executed by Banks. He's trying to settle in and just log some innings for his team, try and keep them in this ball game. They're at an arm's length. And time call, Banks taking too long. Banks has a contrast compared to his teammates. He has gold cleats on. An interesting look. 0-2, rather. Yeah, that was the 0-2, and it was low and away. Ball 1. White caps for the Leprechauns with a green lid, the Leprechaun logo on the front. Solid look. 1-2. And swing and a miss. Strike 3. Zach Schwarzenberger chases a fastball outside. 4 punch-outs now for Pierce Banks, and he finally works his way through a pretty routine inning, able to sidestep a hit batsman and face the minimum. Middle of the third is next, and the Monarchs lead it 4-0. This is your home for Lake Erie Monarchs baseball. Adam Furness leading off here in the bottom of the third inning. Ball one delivered to him from Lane Schnitz-Paxton. Now the 1-0 is low and inside. 2 balls and no strikes on the batter, Adam Furness. Furness taking his first cuts of the day with the Monarchs in the lead 4-0. Furness a .234 average with 11 RBIs. He's from Bowling Green State University. 2-0. Grounded over to second. Ranging over his Prater towards the line. Scoops and throws to first in time. Out number 1 here in the bottom of the third. Schnitz-Paxton has allowed 2 base runners through the first 8 batters. He hit a man in the second, Josh Parks, and Thomas Miller reached on an error. Otherwise, that is it. That is all at this point in time. He has been solid once again. It's been a solid campaign for him. Ball one into Preston Pilot, 1-0. Hence why he has found his way to the All-Star game. Not as an alternate, but as an actual member of the team, and we hope to see him pitch and do well. Low and in, skipping a fastball. Ball 2 to Preston Pilot. .256 average, no homers and 7 RBIs this year for Preston. And the pitch. Little tapper will go to the right of home for strike in the at-bat. 2-1. Beautiful night for baseball here at Fifth Third Field. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for many of these players. Of course, the goal now is for these players to make a push towards becoming professional baseball players, getting drafted, and all the things that come with it. 2-1 is hit to the left of the mound. Just a little nubber picked up by Schnitz-Paxton. Throw is high. Robert Bell slaps the tag on as he turned nicely. That was tremendous. Athletic play by Robert Bell, who we haven't seen play a ton of first base, but look at him there. He makes a big play. And the Monarchs now have the first 2 men out in the bottom of the third. Top of the order coming up, Noah Suarez, who is 0 for 1 with a fly out to right center here today. He delivers to Schnitz-Paxton, high and tight, ball 1. The pitch, low and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Thomas Miller waiting patiently on deck for the Leprechauns. 2-0. Inside corner strike. Schnitz-Paxton there with the pitch. 2-1. He's ready again. Quickly working. Line drive to center. Coming in O'Laughlin, and he'll make the play. Out number 3 in what is a 1-2-3 bottom of the third inning for Lane Schnitz-Paxton, needing just 11 pitches. We're a third of the way through here today at Fifth Third Field in beautiful Toledo, Ohio. And the Monarchs lead the Leprechauns by a score of 4-0. You are listening to Lake Erie Monarchs Baseball on monarchsradio.com. First strike of the inning given to Will Prater from Pierce Banks. 0-1 on Prater. 4-0 Monarchs, top of the fourth. And it's outside, even of the count on Prater now, a ball and a strike. Prater doubled in the second inning, would later come in to score. Tremendous night for baseball. And it's low to make it 2 balls and a strike. Prater, Mazer, Caleb Balgard due up in the inning. And the pitch is upstairs. 3 balls and a strike as Prater is way ahead. That double that he had was quite intriguing because it ultimately ended up on a guy overrunning the baseball. And a strike called loudly by our home plate umpire. 3 balls and 2 strikes as Pierce Banks trying to settle in. 3-2, a liner to left, sinking for a base hit. Will Prater with a multi-hit game. Good piece of hitting. And the Monarchs, for the 3rd straight inning, get their leadoff man on here in the top of the 4th. They are in the lead by a count of 4-0. Well, I've mentioned throughout time that the Monarchs have played in a lot of cool events. And this being one of them at 5th, 3rd swing and a fly ball deep left field. Mazer pounds it near the corner. It will one-hop the fence. Prater's around to 3rd, and he'll have to stop there as the throw comes in to Freeling. Griffin Mazer with a double that looked like it might just carry out of here, but it comes up a little bit short. But he'll pick up his 3rd double of the season, and he's on base for the 2nd time tonight. He walked and scored in the 2nd. So the Monarchs just not taking it easy on Pierce Banks whatsoever. Prater's at 3rd, Mazer is at 2nd. And now back to the top of the lineup, which is Caleb Balgard. 4-0 game. Monarchs with 7 hits now. Skips away. It's going to the backstop, and Prater's trotting home easily. Wild pitch for Pierce Banks allows Will Prater to come in and score, and the Monarchs have a 5-0 lead. They're working towards trying to get 7, though. So the onslaught continues. Up to 3rd goes Mazer, and a 1-0 count. Bullpen churning again as Balgard swings and fouls off a fastball that was high and tight. Ball and a strike. Pierce Banks with the 1-1. And a chopper foul down the 3rd base line. Ball and 2 strikes is the count. As we are into the 4th inning, Monarchs have scored in 3 of the first 4 innings now tonight. Multi-runs in the 1st and the 2nd. One-two on the way. Ground ball, and it's hit hard off the cleats of Banks over towards 3rd. Miller's going to have no play. Tough break for Pierce Banks, but another hard-hit ball, which leads to an RBI single, and the Lake Erie Monarchs are up 6-0 now in the top of the 4th. And now Dylan Hamilton, I should say, will come out and make sure his pitcher's okay. He's trying to shake that one off. He wore one on the right foot, and I think that's going to do it for him. It's not been a good start to the contest, and I think he's going to have to check out, unfortunately. But the Monarchs have had his number so far in this game. They've put up 6 runs. Caleb Balgard's going to be at 1st after his infield RBI single. And the Monarchs have a 6-0 lead. So we will pause and come back as the Monarchs lead at 6-0. This is Monarchs Baseball. Jeremy Spezia, the new pitcher for Irish Hills. They're in a big hole. Monarchs by a half dozen, 6-0 at fifth third field. Over the inside corner, strike one to Jordan Nwogu. Jordan Nwogu has tripled and also has hit into a sacrifice fly tonight and has scored a run. Now a throw over to first to keep Balgard in check. 3 straight singles to start the inning for Pierce Banks. And he ends up getting pulled in favor of Spezia. 0-1 and a bunt that will go off of Jordan Nwogu in the batter's box. He tried to slap one down. No balls and 2 strikes. 6'3", 180 pounds is Jeremy Spezia. The upcoming Bowling Green State University freshman is from Clinton Township, Michigan, and is set to turn 20 years old on October 6th. Instead of an 0-2, a throw to first, no play. Spezia has a 1-2 record, a 7 ERA. This is the 5th game he has pitched in 4 prior starts. 0-2, and Nwogu fights one off. Now we'll head towards the third base dugout of the Leprechauns. Jordan Ham, the assistant coach, will grab the baseball. Now a soft toss over to first. Again, just to check Balgard. Spezia with 18 prior innings, 14 strikeouts, 10 walks, 17 hits allowed. Balgard takes off. It's a hit and run, a pop-up hit towards shallow center field, and Balgard's got to race back. The catch is made. They throw over to first, and they got him. Balgard didn't get back in time, as it will end up being a double play. Nicely done. Freeling made the catch. And a 6-3 double play. And Balgard hesitated for some reason. I think he thought that maybe there was a chance that ball would drop in because the shortstop went well to the right of the second base bag. Momentum was carrying him that way. But not a smart decision, and it ends up in a double play, and the bases are empty. Now Alex Lambo will foul one away. No balls and a strike. Lambo with a single and a strikeout here today. Also a run scored and an RBI. 6-0 Monarchs. Swing and a miss over the top and in front of a slide piece from Spezia. No balls and 2 strikes. Spezia last started previous Saturday, July 7th. Fastball outside, a ball and 2 strikes against the Licking County Settlers. Took the loss in 4 innings, allowed 5 earned runs on 5 hits, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. A lot of fives in there. 1-2, a soft tapper, third base line. It's going to take a turn into foul ground where it will be scooped up by Miller, the third baseman. So Lambo will still be batting here with 2 down in the top of the 4th. Spezia gets the call out of the pen today after Pierce Banks was able to make the start at fifth third field in Toledo. 1-2 on the way. Stays outside. Not going for it was Lambo, 2-2. Deep breath from Lambo, waves the bat in front of him once. And the Deuce's wild pitch is a liner, scorched foul. Lambo all over that changeup that was up and in. He was in front of it and nailed it near the tarp down the third base line, which is near the vacant Leprechauns bullpen area. 2-2 pitch. And another foul ball. This time it goes off of our home plate umpire, who's going to have to take a moment here to make sure he's okay. Almost a scary situation with the umpires today. They were initially told to go to Grand Rapids, Ohio. They weren't going to go here to Fifth Third Field in Toledo, though fortunately the Leprechauns were able to let them know. No, you'll be coming here to the Mud Hens facility in Toledo. And so here we are. fortunately, with our umpires, so we can have a game today. Another 2-2. Rung him up. Down goes Lambo. Great pitch from Spezia. He'll pick up his first strikeout, and that's all in the top of the fourth. The Monarchs will get 2 more runs, though, on 3 straight hits. An infield RBI single for Caleb Balgard. And before that, Will Prater scores on a wild pitch during Balgard's at bat. Midway through the 4th inning, 6-0. Leprechauns trailing the Monarchs. This is your home for Lake Erie Monarchs baseball. Lane Schnitz-Paxton has been in control at 5th Third Field. It's allowed just 2 base runners. A hit batsman and Thomas Miller reached on an error. He will start off the inning, and he'll line one towards left field. Backing up on it, Schwarzenberger will see it go over his head and roll to the wall. Miller loses his helmet halfway between first and second. He's in there with a stand-up double. And there's the first hit for the Irish Hills Leprechauns. It comes here in the bottom of the 4th. Thomas Miller continues to just rip the baseball. Miller will pick up his 4th double of the season. And that'll bring up Gunnar Rainey, who has popped out once today. Schnitz-Paxton delivers. And it's high, ball 1. So the good thing for Schnitz-Paxton is he has a little more room to work with as the Monarchs continue to add on, getting 2 more runs in the top half of this inning. 1-0, grounded over to third. Balgard fielding the hop. Checks the label, throws across for the out. Staying put at second base is Thomas Miller. 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Let's take a look at that out-of-town scoreboard as we will see what's going on a beautiful Sunday, at least here in Northwest Ohio for baseball. Have a lot of finals from earlier. The Lima Locos, they wallop, and I mean wallop, the Grand Lake Mariners today, 14-1. Pitch inside. Ball 1 to Tommy Pellis, who was rung up in the first inning. So the Locos add on to their lead in the division. Well, they're right there with St. Clair Green Giants. They're 20-11 are the Locos now. Sugar Beets with a win over the Green Giants, so those two are essentially neck and neck. 1-0 is high and in, 2 balls and no strikes. That's not good for anyone in the North Division that the Sugar Beets won today. You almost want the Green Giants and the Locos to run away with the top 2 spots, and then that leaves that 3rd position up for grabs for the 2nd wild card in the North Division. 2-0, a foul ball hit by Pellis at the home plate area. 2 balls and a strike. So the Sugar Beets win in St. Clair 10-6 today. Graders also went on the road over the Xenia Scouts 11-3. Muskegon Clippers 5, Licking County Settlers 3. That's a final in Muskegon. And we have a couple more games in action currently. This was one of the later starts tonight here in Toledo between the Monarchs and the Leprechauns. 6-0 in the bottom of the fourth. 2-1. Fastball inside. 3 balls and a strike on Tommy Pellis. Southern Ohio Copperheads with a 3-0 lead at home over the Richmond Jazz in the bottom of the sixth. Now Bradley Merrick going to come out and have a quick word with Lane Schnitz-Paxton. He's kind of digging at the dirt in front of home in his landing spot, or on the mound, not in front of home, but his landing spot. Now the home plate umpire going to come out and check it out as well. That's something you can never be too cautious with, especially when you have all that momentum carrying you in a downward arc while releasing the baseball towards home. And that's part of the reason that he's misfired to Pellis so often in this at-bat. Looks like it's better now. 3-1 count, 1 out. Thomas Miller's at second base. Leprechauns still looking for their first run, down 6-zip. Bottom of the third in Cincinnati, the Steam leading the Hamilton Joes 8-2. And of course, 4-0 here. All-Star game coming up Tuesday. 3-1, almost hit Pellis inside, ball 4. So Pellis will truck on down to first. Staying put at second is Miller. Just 1 out in the fourth. Leprechauns trying to start the comeback train with Josh Parks. Down 6-zip. Josh Parks was hit by a pitch in the second inning and then was caught stealing for just the second time this year. That was a laser from Mazer. Didn't plan that one. Parks fouls it back behind home to the sweet level. No balls and a strike. Lights not quite on yet here at Fifth Third Field. They may not be needed here today, although the shadows starting to close in around Lane Schnitz-Paxton as they grow longer around the infield. They're going from left to right. 0-1. Fastball at the knees. Outside corner, strike 2. Schnitz-Paxton looks to be a little better with his landing spot in this at-bat. Schnitz-Paxton delivers. Curveball, just outside. Good pitch by Josh Parks. To Josh Parks from Schnitz-Paxton, 1-2. Monarchs and Leprechauns playing this game. Mud Hens are on the road. Of course, the All-Star festivities about to begin in the Major League, at the Major League level. The Futures game is tonight. 1-2. Curveball again, same spot outside. And not going after it was Parks. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So on the same day as the MLB All-Star game, Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League All-Star game will be taking place at Prasco Park in Mason. 2-2. Fastball hit hard, foul to the right of the first base line. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. A long at bat for Lane Schnitz-Paxton. He threw just 20 pitches over his previous 2 innings, but has already gone north of 14 here in this inning. Laboring a bit. Another 2-2 to Parks. Curveball, a little high, stayed outside. So Parks just wasn't going after those backdoor breaking balls, and Schnitz-Paxton wasn't quite accurate enough to hit the corner. Full count. Don't want to lose him here and load the bases. Leprechauns still at an arm's length. And another ground ball hit by Parks. A fastball low and in that he fights off. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, when you look at the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League landscape this year, you see a similar story in the fact that Lima, good year in, year out, wins many years. They've won a couple years in a row. This title, 3-2, high, ball 4. And they're loaded up. Second walk of the inning and of the game for Lane Schnitz-Paxton. Miller to third, Pellis to second, Parks to first. Now Bradley Merrick going to come out and have another word with the home plate umpire and Lane Schnitz-Paxton here quickly, as he's struggling a bit with his command in the bottom of the fourth. And a reminder that All-Star game coming up this Tuesday, July 17th at Prasco Park in Mason, Ohio, 6125 Commerce Court. Get this, free admission, parking, and concession. Food truck rally with dollar credit. It should be a great contest between the North and South Division. 4 Monarchs will be there in attendance. Jordan Nwoku will be starting, Lane Schnitz-Paxton and Alex Tice. The pitchers will have the opportunity to come out of the pen, potentially. And also, Griffin Mazer is an alternate catcher for the game on Tuesday for the North Division. Kyle Bischoff will also be throwing bullpen sessions there in Mason. Nick Neibauer with the bases loaded takes a fastball high, 1-0. 6-0 Monarchs, bottom half of the fourth. But boy, are the Leprechauns threatening. And we saw last night how their bats were hitting. They're a scary team. 1-0, grounded back to the mound. Schnitz-Paxton throws the home for one. On to first, double play, get out of the inning. 1, 2, 3, ground ball, double play, hit into by Nick Neibauer. And the Leprechauns, just when it looked like they had a big opportunity to strike, instead, they don't score, and Schnitz-Paxton has worked through 4 scoreless innings. 5th inning is on the way. Monarchs 6 and the Leprechauns nothing. You are listening to Lake Erie Monarchs Baseball on monarchsradio.com. Fifth inning set to begin here at Fifth Third Field in downtown Toledo, Ohio. What a gem of a facility. What a gem of an evening. And the scoreboard's not too bad, too. 6-0 Monarchs. Robert Bell squares the bunt, pulls back, takes ball 1. Bell with a single and a ground out here today. He is 1 for 2. Bell, O'Laughlin, Andrew Dyke to bat in the 5th against Jeremy Spezia. 1-0 sails high and away. Kicks off the glove of the catcher Neibauer to the backstop, 2-0. What a jam Lane Schnitz-Paxton got out of. Allowed a leadoff double in the top of the 4th, the last half inning. Got a ground out by Gunnar Rainey, but then 2 walks to load the bases with 1 out. 2-0. And swinging through a fastball is Bell, 2-1. Needless to say, at that point, you're a little worried about what's going to happen because he didn't seem to quite have his command where he usually does. 2-1 breaker right over the heart of the plate. 2-2 on Bell. But instead, he was able to settle in, get that ground ball back to the mound, and Get a 1-2-3 double play to end the inning. The break even. Low and outside. Full count on Bell. By the way, the pregame interview with Robert Bell up on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube page. 3-2 is a liner hit to center. Pilot moving towards the right center field alleyway, and he is able to put it away. A backhanded grab. Out number 1 here in the top of the 5th. It's the third batter that Jeremy Spezia has faced. He's gotten all 3. He came in a tough spot with Balgard on first after an infield RBI single. Got the double play, and then also got Lambo to strike out. Ball 1 high and away to Casey O'Loughlin. Top of the 5th inning. 6-zip Monarchs. 1 out, nobody on. The 1-0. And O'Loughlin skies one into foul ground. Third base side. Miller moving towards the wall. Puts it away. Out number 2 as Casey O'Loughlin fouls out. He's 0 for 2 today. He was hit by a pitch in the 3rd. Next man up is Andrew Dyke. Singled home a run in the 1st and struck out in the 3rd. Monarchs by 6 in their half of the 5th. Righty Andrew Dyke against the right-handed pitcher Jeremy Spezia. Out of the windup, and a curveball is taken for strike 1 over the outside corner. A lot of Big Ten representatives on this Monarchs roster, Dyke being one of them, the only one from Illinois. Foul tip into the mitt, strike 2 on a high heater. Quickly behind 2 strikes is Dyke. Outfield and infield playing him straight away. The pitch, a liner towards right center. Pilot on the move again, and he'll have to make a tough catch on a sinking line drive. Almost identical to what he had to do in making the catch on Robert Bell's liner. 1-2-3 inning for Jeremy Spezia. It takes him just 11 pitches. Halfway home here at Fifth Third Field in Toledo, Ohio. Monarchs 6, Leprechauns nothing. This is your home for Lake Erie Monarchs baseball. Make sure to follow your Lake Erie Monarchs on Twitter at GLL_Monarchs, on Facebook, Lake Erie Monarchs, and you can find out all the information about your favorite baseball team on LakeErieMonarchs.com. Perfect evening here tonight in Toledo. Monarchs with a perfect start through 4.5 innings. 6-0, they lead it as the Leprechauns come to bat with Zach Freeling. Fastball high, ball 1. He's 0 for 1 today with a ground out to third back in the 2nd inning. Swatted the first pitch he saw from Schnitz Paxton. 1-0. Fastball burns the outside edge to even it up at 1-1. That's what Schnitz Paxton does so well. Getting guys out quickly. 1-1. And a chopper foul left of home. A ball and 2 strikes. Schnitz Paxton's numbers, this is his 6th start of the season tonight. He has a 3-2 record with a 4.12 ERA, which seems to be a bit high, and honestly it is because his earlier starts hurt that number. 1-2. Curveball well outside, blocked by Mazer. Even it up at 2. A shutout thrown as well for Schnitz Paxton. He's thrown 28 in the third innings, 27 strikeouts to 10 walks, and 32 hits allowed. 2-2 curveball. Buckled the days of Freeling. Down he goes. That was a pretty pitch. Schnitz Paxton only has 3 strikeouts today, but they're all looking. So he's really fooled the hitters when he's gotten them. First man down here in the bottom of the 5th. That brings up Adam Furness. 0 for 1 with a ground out to second. Preston Pilot also will have a chance to bat in the inning. The pitch. Fastball inside, ball 1. So it would be nice if Schnitz Paxton can get that earned run average down a bit heading into the All-Star break. 1-0. Check swing on a fastball high and away. And Furness went too far. 1-1. Last start came a week ago on Sunday against the Hamilton Joes. That was a blowout victory for the Monarchs. 14-3. 1-1 bunted down the third base line. Balgard charges, bare hands, throws off balance and throws it away. And that's going to allow Furness to reach second base. We'll see if that's going to be a single and an error or just a flat-out error against the pitcher. Single and an error will go for the man Adam Furness. That was very well executed. And then Caleb Balgard picks up his second error of the day. 2 hits now for the Leprechauns. Man at second with 1 out here in the 5th. High ball 1 to Preston Pilot, who chopped one back to the mound in the first inning. It was a wayward throw by Schnitz Paxton, but Bell jumped up into the air and tagged the runner nicely. Pilot can't catch up to a high and in fastball. Ball and a strike. Still haven't gotten to my discussion about some of the cool things this Monarchs team has done over the years of Jim DeSena. This being year number 20 for the Monarchs in existence in the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League. 1-1. Flown into shallow left center. Lambo going out, giving way at the last second to Schwarzenberger, who had it all the way. Makes the catch. Just good enough communication, because Lambo and Schwarzenberger could have easily collided into one another there. Schwarzenberger called Lambo off. Adam Furness is back at second base. And here comes Noah Suarez. Fly out and a line out for Suarez today. The pitch. And must have been high because it was over the plate. Ball 1. One-0. Inside corner at the knees, strike 1. So this is interesting. At least for right now, no error has been given to Balgard. Furness they have for an infield single, and then he advanced to second on, well, the throw, I suppose. 1-1. Low and away. 2 balls and a strike. 2 down here in the 5th. 6-0 Lake Erie leading Irish Hills. Schnitz Paxton hoping to get through 5 and beyond. 2-1. Fastball low. 3 balls and a strike to Noah Suarez. Leadoff man for this Leprechauns team. Did not see the field yesterday. Three-1. Strike 2. Inside corner just below the belt. That's where you want your 2-seam fastball to end up. 2-seamer, curveball, slider. Some of the pieces to the arsenal for Lane Schnitz Paxton. And a changeup. 3-2. And a curveball low and away. Not offering at it is Suarez. There's the walk. 3rd walk of the game for Lane Schnitz Paxton. He has now walked at least 3 in 4 of his 6 starts this year. He did not walk any in his last start. That start I was mentioning against the Hamilton Joes, where he pitched 8 innings, allowed 3 runs, just 2 of them earned, 3 hits. He scattered throughout the 8 innings and struck out 6. Season high 8 innings pitched. Fastball, knees, outside corner to Thomas Miller. Miller has reached on an error and doubled here today. 6-0 Monarchs, bottom of the 5th. 2 men on for the Leprechauns at first and second. 0-1. Fastball, outer half. And Miller quickly behind 0-2. He's probably one of the last guys the Monarchs want to be facing right now. Him and Pellis have just torn up Monarchs pitching this year, no matter who's on the mound. 2-strike pitch. Curveball, and able to foul it away was Thomas Miller. That one going over the roofing and out of play on the first base side. 0-2. Toledo Mud Hens, who of course are the occupants of this stadium, just a half game out in the division of the International League. 0-2. Ground ball hit to short. Going the short way is Lambeau over to second to force Noah Suarez. And that will do it here in the bottom of the 5th inning. A single and a walk allowed by Schnitz Paxton, but more. He is through 5 scoreless innings. 6-0 Monarchs lead as we venture to the 6th here at Fifth Third Field. You are listening to Lake Erie Monarchs Baseball on monarchsradio.com. Top 6 here in Toledo. Ball outside. 1-0 to Zach Schwarzenberger. Lake Erie Monarchs in front of the Irish Hills Leprechauns, 6-0. Swing and a miss. Zach Schwarzenberger behind a fastball from Spezia, 1-1. Kevin Peel here with you on monarchsradio.com. So happy to have you with us here tonight. 1-1, fastball outside, 2 balls and a strike. On a unique event here at Fifth Third Field. Monarchs playing baseball. Of course, played for many years at Ned Skeldon Stadium on the other side of town. 2-1 finishes below the zone, and Schwarzenberger's well ahead 3-1. Schwarzenberger flew out on 1 pitch in the first and struck out swinging in the third. 3-1, and a fly ball hit to center. Pilot moving a couple steps to his left and in. Makes a one-handed grab for out number 1, and Schwarzenberger's 0 for 3 today. Never got to Pierce Banks' numbers. He threw 70 pitches today, the starter for the Leprechauns, threw 3+ innings, faced 19, struck out 4, walked 1, allowed 9 hits, 6 runs, all of them earned, and a wild pitch. He's in line for the loss. Next man up is Will Prater. Strike 1 called at the knees. No balls and a strike. And the 0-1. Curveball high. A ball and a strike. Will Prater with the open stance, a 1-1, and a curveball comes over the outside corner. Ball and 2 strikes to Will Prater. Jeremy Spezia delivers a 1-2, just below the knees, even up the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Toledo Mud Hens have been in the thick of the IL West race from the start this year at the AAA level. 2-2, curveball, and Prater down on strikes. Sat staring at that curveball. He's chatting with the home plate umpire to see where that was, and he's not happy. Prater now 2 for 3 today, doubled, singled, and has scored 2 runs. But he's out now to begin this top of the 6th inning. 2 down, in fact, and here's the number 9 man, Griffin Mazer. He's had a productive day, a walk, a double, 2 runs scored for him. He swings at the first pitch, high pop-up, going foul out of play, first base side, and it bounces into the seats. Strike 1. There was actually an onlooker who was looking away from the play, and the ball bounced a row back and slightly away from him. So that was a bit scary for a moment. 0-1, and there's another one heading that direction, although that might go over the roof. Yes, it is, down the first base side. 2 strikes on Griffin Mazer. And, of course, at these games, you have the teams paying for baseballs. They try to bring them back. 0-2. Little liner fisted into left center field for a knock. Hit number 10 for the Lake Erie Monarchs. Second of the day for Griffin Mazer. And the top of the 6th inning will continue as Caleb Balgard will step in. Now we've kind of settled into a bit of a pace. The Monarchs have not had any hits. They had 3 in a row to begin the top of the 4th. But Jeremy Spezia had retired the first 7 that he had faced before that single by Mazer. Here's Balgard swinging, popping one up, right field, down the line. Parks and Furness going at it in foul ground, and Furness trying to stretch his left hand out to make the catch and could not near the bullpen mound. No balls and a strike. The count here. Back to first base goes the runner. Monarchs at 13-17 entering play today. Irish Hills at 15-15, and the Monarchs really got to win today just to stay 3.5 games back with 10 to play of the final playoff spot in the North, which is quite a hill to climb. 0-1. And Balgard cracks one between short and third on the ground into left field for a base hit. 2 straight 2-out base hits for the Monarchs. They're up to 11 in the hit column now. They have 6 runs and lead at 6-0. Mazer goes up to second. So don't count out a Monarchs rally now. They may have cracked the seal on Jeremy Spezia. Spezia pitching here in the 6th with 2 down. And 2 men on. Jordan Nwogu next up. Triple, a sac fly, and a pop-out for Nwogu. He takes strike 1 over the inside corner. And that pop-out into a shallow right center was a double play. Balgard was doubled off at first. Not able to get back to the bag in time. Here's the 0-1. And a line drive right to second. It'll be fielded by Pellis, put away for out number 3. And that will do it. So the Monarchs get 2 2-out singles, but they leave them on. We venture to the middle of the 6th inning, and the Monarchs are in the lead, 6-0. This is your home for Monarchs Baseball, monarchsradio.com. Irish Hills trying to come back, but they have a steep hill to climb, down 6. Monarchs 6, Leprechauns nothing as the bottom of the 6th inning begins. Gunnar Rainey, the DH, leads off. Two-seamer over for strike 1 from Lane Schnitz-Paxton, who has thrown 6 scoreless, make it 5 scoreless innings, looking for 6, 0-1. And a curveball way out in front was Rainey, strike 2. Rainey 0 for 2 with a pop-out and a ground-out here today. And when it was deemed that he was in the top 5 in batting average for the league, he actually started the game 0 for 2 last night, but then finished strong with 4 RBIs. Fastball outside. Ball and 2 strikes. Rainey ended up with a 2-run double in the 4th and a 2-run single in the 8th. Also walked in the 7th. And that 18-1 win for the Leprechauns. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Chasing one in the left-handed batter's box. An off-speed pitch puts him away. They'll throw down to complete the strikeout. 1 up, 1 down for Lane Schnitz-Paxton and the Monarchs here in the bottom half of the 6th. Ahead 6-0. Schnitz-Paxton with 4 strikeouts now. Strikeout total has been a little lower for him today, at least so far, but he's getting up near that number. Strike 1 call to Tommy Pellis, who has been rung up today and also walked back in the 4th, his last time up. The 0-1 on the way. Slow breaker at the knees, inside corner. Nothing Pellis could do with that. Nothing in 2. Monarchs have won the last 3 starts that Lane Schnitz-Paxton has made. And it all started with that 2-0 shutout victory he had over the Richmond Jazz on June 24th. That really changed his season. 0-2 fastball put in the air, and that will go foul. Goes off the scoreboard and goes on to the playing surface. Off one of those side skirt scoreboards down the sides that you see at many of the Major League and minor league ballparks. There's one down the first base line here at Fifth Third Field in Toledo. 0-2 from Schnitz-Paxton, low and away. Nice curveball, but not going after it was Pellis. Out of the wind, the 1-2. Fastball low and away. Even count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Had a little bit of a mini crisis that has now been solved here in the press box. The stats being done on an iPad to my right. 2-2, fastball low. And it's now full on Pellis. And that iPad was dying a few moments ago. Trying to keep the live stats up. So we've had some reinforcements come in. A charger's available. And the live stats will continue. 3-2. And Pellis just got a piece of it. Puts it on the ground back to the backstop behind home. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So the Monarchs played all their games away from Flat Rock Field here this week. And now the final stretch of the season, 7 of the last 10 will be at home, starting on Thursday with the Lima Locos. 2-game set Thursday, Friday. Monarchs back on the road next weekend, Saturday and Sunday, for their last full road series against the Galleon Graders. Saginaw Sugar Beets. They play next week up in Saginaw. Full count pitch. Low and away, and he loses Pellis. Walks starting to pile up just a bit for Lane Schnitz-Paxton. He's up to 4 in the game. Here's Josh Parks. He has 1 of those walks. He's also been hit by a pitch tonight. On base twice. Leprechauns looking to erase a 6-0 deficit. They bat in the bottom of the 6th with 1 man out and a man at first. Left-handed hitting Parks against the righty Schnitz-Paxton. Fastball, 2-seamer way high and away. Ball 1. So I mentioned Lima, I mentioned Saginaw, and then the usual Monday day off the Monarchs will have a week from tomorrow, which is the 23rd. 1-0. And another two-seamer tails away, 2-0. And he wants a new baseball. He'll get it from our home plate umpire. Then 4 straight home games, the 24th through the 27th, Tuesday through Friday, against divisional opponents. 2 against the Grand Lake Mariners, Tuesday and Wednesday. They'll follow that up by playing the Muskegon Clippers. 2-0, fly ball hit deep to right field. It's hooking, and it will go foul. Onto the concourse down the right field corner. Parks turned on it and was just out in front of it. Would have been a homer. Had the height, had the distance. At least it appears so. If it didn't, it would have hit off the top of that fence. 341 to the corner in right field. And Parks hit that one hard. But it goes foul, fortunately for the Monarchs. 2-1. Low and in, and well behind in the count is Schnitz Paxton, 3-1. Monarchs going to get a man warming up in the bullpen. Some stretching going on. It appears to be Brendan Lovell, who is beginning to toss. Schnitz Paxton wants to get through 6, especially since he hasn't given up a run yet. 3-1. Ground ball over to second. They'll get the lead man at second. Lambo then drops the exchange, and they'll still call the man out at second, Tommy Pellis. Fortunately, they deemed that Lambo caught that throw from Prater, but then he dropped it on the release trying to make a throw to first. So it's a fielder's choice hit into by Parks. He replaces Pellis at first. May have been a broken bat on that play. That one softly went over to second. 2 down in the 6th. Monarchs 6, Leprechauns nothing. Here's Nick Neibauer. Strikeout is also grounded into a double play today. Fastball low and in, ball 1. That double play that he rolled into came with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 4th, and that ended a rally that could have changed the complexion of this game. It did not. Instead, 1-0. Inside, he misfires. 2 balls and no strikes. Lane Schnitz Paxton, the right-hander, pitching to the lefty, Nick Neibauer. Lights are on here at Fifth Third Field as we're approaching the 8 o'clock hour. Still under 2 hours of time in this game. 2-0, put in the air to left center. Not deep. O'Loughlin and Schwarzenberger actually coming in and towards left center. It will be Schwarzenberger's ball. He makes the catch, out number 3. And that is all here in the 6th inning. Schnitz Paxton able to work around a walk. He does not allow a hit. He has allowed just 2 hits through 6 innings. To the 7th, Monarchs leading the Leprechauns 6-0. You are listening to Lake Erie Monarchs Baseball on monarchsradio.com. Alex Lambo leads off things in the top of the 7th. Lake Erie Monarchs 6, Irish Hills Leprechauns nothing. Kevin Peel here with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Fastball outside from Jeremy Spezia starts the inning, ball 1. Lambo singled home a run in the first and later scored in the inning, but since has struck out twice. Pitch low and away, 2-0. Lambo, Bell, O'Loughlin, 3, 4, 5 in the order here at Fifth Third Field in Toledo, Ohio. 2-0, and swing and a miss. Lambo goes down to a knee after missing that one. 2-1. Lane Schnitz Paxton allowed just 2 hits through 6 scoreless innings. 2-1 curveball, high and tight, 3-1. It'll be an interesting decision from Bradley Merritt if the Monarchs will bring him back out at all for the 7th. He's at 100 pitches exactly. 3-1 inside. Lambo dances away from ball 4. Jeremy Spezia issues out his first walk. That's just the second walk of the game for the Leprechauns pitching staff. Schnitz Paxton on the other side has 4. Now Robert Bell will bat. Left-handed, he's a switch hitter against the righty Spezia. First one on the way. And at the knees, inside half for strike 1. Bell with a single, a ground out, and a line out here today. 1 for 3. Made the play tough on Preston Pilot. That line out to right center in the 5th. Back to first is Lambo as he draws a throw. Lambo 2 for 5 stealing bases this year. Swing and a miss. Well out in front of the curveball was Bell. No balls and 2 strikes. Good crowd on hand taking in the ball game here at Fifth Third Field tonight. Picked a good night, although it was very warm at the start. It's slowly cooling down here in Toledo. So we have a couple more innings of baseball to be played. 0-2 from Spezia. Fastball outside. 1-2 the count on Robert Bell. Wind blowing maybe a touch more strongly than it was at the beginning of the game. 1-2. Curveball outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And it's been blowing in towards the left field line from right to left here. I don't think it really deterred Josh Parks from hitting a home run. 2-2. High foul ball hit. And heading out of play, third base side. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Robert Bell. That one will find Huron Street. Restaurants and shops over there. Instead of a 2-2, a throw over to first to check Lambo. He's back in safely. Jeremy Spezia pitching into his 4th inning. 2-2. And a curveball stays high and away. Fill up the count, 3-2 on Robert Bell. Irish Hills Leprechauns and Lake Erie Monarchs are done for the season against each other after today. Payoff. Bell can't catch up to a heater. Strike 3. Spezia records his 3rd strikeout out of the pen. 1 out, top 7. Monarchs 6 and the Leprechauns nothing. Lambo still at first base with 1 down. O'Loughlin with 2 air outs today. And he was also struck by a pitch in the 3rd inning. 0 for 2 officially. Spezia delivers. High and away. 1-0. Yep, you can feel that warm breeze wafting into the visiting radio booth. That's where we're stationed here at Fifth Third Field. 1-0 grounded to first. Adam Furness with a great job to pick that one. On to second for 1. Throws back to first for a 3-6-3 double play. Well executed. That ball was cracked and was headed towards the right field corner, but Furness able to stop it. Turn 2, and the Monarchs will go quietly as Spezia faces the minimum in the 7th. We're at stretch time. Monarchs lead 6-0. This is your home for Monarchs baseball. Monarchs in the lead, 6-0. Bottom of the 7th inning is set to begin. And we have a couple defensive changes here for the Monarchs, it appears. Casey Slattery will come in for the Monarchs. Casey Slattery is the new first baseman. He will check in for Robert Bell, whose night will come to an end. And he'll bat in the 4-hole, Will Slattery. Schnitz Paxton missing well outside for ball 1. He's now over 100 pitches as Schnitz Paxton as he begins the bottom of the 7th. In the meantime, the Leprechauns get their bullpen up and going down the third base side. 1-0. Ground ball, Freeling over to third, and he eats up Balgard, getting over him for a base hit. It'll be a base hit. One that Balgard just couldn't quite get in front of. Third hit of the game. And Zach Freeling gets on base. Just got on top of Balgard too quickly for him to make a play. 3 hits now tonight for the Leprechauns. That is all they've been able to muster. They trail 6-0. There's Adam Furness, ground out and a single for him. Strike 1 called. And that single was on a bunt in the 5th inning. So you have one that maybe a play could have been made on, but still would have been a tough play to make anyway. 0-1 low and in, and it will skip to the backstop. Pass ball will go against Griffin Mazer. That pitch was not in the dirt, just mishandled by Mazer. Pass ball, runner in scoring position right away for the Leprechauns in the bottom of the 7th, down 6. 6 runs on 11 hits. An error for the Monarchs, and so far they have left 5 on the base paths. Irish Hills Leprechauns with no runs on 3 hits, no errors, and they've left 6 on. And ball 2 delivered to Adam Furness. So it's the bottom of the order trying to start a rally against Schnitz Paxton. Now Lovell has made his way back out to warm up for the Monarchs. 2-1. Furness, fly ball, deep right field, back goes Dyke. He's not going to get there. Going to go to the fence. This is going to bring home a run. Freeling's heading towards the plate. He'll score without a throw, and Adam Furness drives in a run to put the Irish Hills Leprechauns on the board. Been a bit of a rough year hitting for Adam Furness, but he picks up RBI number 12 with that double, which is his 4th of the season, his 2nd hit of the night. Now Lovell throwing quickly. And also we have another pitcher warming up, a lefty and a righty going at the same time for the Monarchs. So they're going to have a couple guys ready to go here. Alex Tice is throwing, another all-star. Strike 1 to Preston Pilot. 0-1. Pilot today with a ground out and a fly out. The 0-1. Inside corner at the knees, strike 2. That's a shame that the shutout is lost here for Lane Schnitz-Paxton. But nonetheless, he has still pitched tremendously. Still responsible for the man at second. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Blew the heater by him. And that's an important first out for Schnitz-Paxton. Bullpen still working quickly. Brad Merritt buying time. It looks like he may take a trek towards the mound here. He's chatting with Jim DeSena and Dale Gray. He's at 109 pitches as Schnitz-Paxton right now, so he's probably closing in on being at his max. Maybe one more batter. Fastball high and in ball 1 to Noah Suarez, who has walked, lined out, and flown out today. 6-1, Monarchs lead it in the bottom of the 7th. A run is in for Irish Hills. 1-0. Pop up. Shallow center. O'Loughlin coming in. Still coming in. Not far away from the shortstop's position. Will make the catch. He was in full sprint mode. I don't think Lambo and Prater had a good idea of where that baseball was coming down. They just got out of the way. O'Loughlin had it the entire way. So because of the 2-pitch out, with Schnitz-Paxton at 11 pitches, 111 pitches, he may be able to get through 7. Here's Thomas Miller. On base all 3 times. An error, a double, and he got on via a fielder's choice in the 5th. Curveball stays high, ball 1. Bradley Merritt, though, is at the top step, ready to go out and give the hook to his pitcher, though, if need be. See if he can get through 7. 1-0, grounded left side, base hit past Lambo. I think they're going to wave him. Yes, they are. The throw to the plate cut off by Balgard, and that will allow the run to score. It looked like it was on line and could have gotten the runner, but Balgard cut it off. That's an RBI single to make it 6-2 as Thomas Miller drives in another run. Miller now with 18 RBIs. He has 5 in this series. Just an interesting decision from Balgard to cut that baseball off. I think he had a shot to get him at the plate. Schwarzenberger's throw was pretty much on the money. And now that'll be the second run that Schnitz-Paxton gives up, and that's going to do it. He's going to have to come out here, I would have to think. With 2 runs in, yep, he will. No, he won't. That was Bradley Merritt coming off the mound. Bullpen is ready with Tice and Lovell. They might both still be used here tonight. But the good thing is you got through the tough batter that is Thomas Miller with just a single. And the 5th hit of the game for Irish Hills. He's done a lot worse in his season series against the Monarchs. But we're starting to get to a little bit more of an uncomfortable margin here. It's just a 4-run lead now in the bottom of the 7th. And that brings up Gunnar Rainey. Runner takes off. Rainey lines one over the netting behind home and up into the sweet level for strike 1. Rainey's had a rough day. 0 for 3, has struck out once. Pop out and a ground out for him as well. So Schnitz-Paxton still going here. This is about to be 1:15 on the pitch count. Lights will slowly come into effect as the sun continues to set. 0-1. Slider, outside edge, strike 2 to Rainey. The entire field is now covered in shadows as the sun is set behind the third base suite level area. 0-2, swing and a miss, got him, strike 3. Rainey reaches, can't come up with it. Second strikeout of the inning for Lane Schnitz-Paxton, and he's able to work his way through 7 innings here tonight. And he has 6 strikeouts. But Irish Hills makes this game a little more interesting. They get 2 runs on 3 hits in the inning and will leave a man on base. To the 8th, Monarchs 6, Leprechauns 2. You are listening to Lake Erie Monarchs Baseball on monarchsradio.com. No more Jeremy Spezia. The new pitcher is Grant Kirsch for the Irish Hills Leprechauns to begin the top of the 8th. Pitch from Kirsch. High, ball 1. Grant Kirsch, the righty, replaces Jeremy Spezia. He is opposed by Andrew Dyke. 1-0. Downstairs, 2 balls and no strikes. Andrew Dyke singled home a run in the first, but since is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a line out. Monarchs out hitting the Leprechauns 11-5. Swing and a miss behind a fastball on the outer half, 2-1. And leading on the scoreboard 6-2. Monarchs have the lone error in the game. 2-1 from Kirsch. Pop up, first base side. Furness going into foul ground near the home plate area of the bullpens. Out number 1, he makes the catch. I'll bring up Zach Schwarzenberger, who's 0 for 3 with 2 flyouts and a strikeout here tonight. Fifth Third Field, Toledo, Ohio, home of the AAA affiliate of the Detroit Tigers, the Toledo Mud Hens. Many players on that current Tigers roster right now have been Mud Hens. Swing and a miss, strike 1 to Schwarzenberger. Tigers in quite a rough stretch over their last 24 or 25 games or so. Rebuilding part of the Tigers organization kind of showing right now in the win and loss column. Fastball low and in for ball 1. And that's what was so interesting to hear Jim Leland's comments about. Of course, he is a special advisor to Al Avila, the GM. Liner over the leaping Miller, the third baseman, into left field. Base hit for Zach Schwarzenberger, 12th hit of the night for the Monarchs. And Schwarzenberger's on base for the first time. 1 on, 1 out, top 8, 6-2 Monarchs. What has been a, well, maybe not a special season in terms of wins and losses like last year was for Lake Erie when they went 27-15 and made it to the play-in game before bowing out to St. Clair. There's Will Prater. Fastball, outside corner strike. Prater, with 2 runs scored, has doubled, singled, and fanned tonight. 2 for 3. But you've had things like this ball game played at Fifth Third Field. 0-1, a liner back to the screen behind home, 0-2. You had Jim Leland the night before the season started as your keynote speaker. Jeff Jones, also the former Tigers pitching coach, was with Jim Leland on that night. And that was when the Tigers were in contention still in the Central Division, just a couple games back, the Indians. 0-2. And a liner to left, down for a hit. 2 straight hits. Will Prater has a 3-hit night. He's hitting the baseball well. Hit number 13 for the Monarchs. Schwarzenberger up to second. Prater is at first. Just 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Monarchs looking to add to their 6-2 lead. Griffin Mazer going to be pinch hit for by Jake Goudreau here in the top of the 8th. Goudreau will be a lefty batter against Grant Kirsch, who's pitching in his 10th game for Irish Hills. 0-1 record, a 4.76 ERA. Kirsch also has a save in 9 previous appearances. 11 in the 3rd innings, 4 strikeouts to 8 walks, 16 hits allowed. Also 1 for 2 batting at the plate this year is Kirsch. Goudreau swings at the first pitch, a towering pop-up hit to center field, not deep at all. Backing up on it, Pellis, he will catch the moon ball. Pilo is right behind him backing up, out number 2. Prater and Schwarzenberger will stay at their current bases. So Goudreau, pinch hitting, didn't quite work out. 2 outs in the 8th, 2 men on. 6-2 Monarchs lead. Here's Caleb Balgard. Caleb Balgard has a 3-hit night. Struck out in the first, but since has doubled, singled, and singled. Just continues to hit the baseball well. Fly ball heading off the sweet level. Foul just to the right of home. No balls and a strike on Balgard. Right-handed batter from Indiana. Grant Kirsch, the right-handed pitcher from Youngstown State University. Grew up in Kent, Ohio. He is 6 foot, 195 pounds. Upcoming freshman at Youngstown State. The 0-1. Swing and a foul tip into the mitt for strike 2. Balgard just got a piece of that off the end of the bat. His first appearance against the Monarchs this year for Grant Kirsch. Last appearance came 3 days ago in a loss to the Graders, and he took the loss on that night. 0-2. And Balgard went too far, strike 3. And that will do it on a fastball high and in. They threw down to first. They had Will Prater picked off, but not like it mattered because the third out of the inning was Caleb Balgard. He fans for the second time tonight. Monarchs get 2 base hits, but leave them both stranded. Middle of the 8th, Monarchs 6, Leprechauns 2. This is your home for Monarchs baseball. Thank you, bud. Bottom of the 8th inning, Tommy Pellis, Josh Parks, and Nick Neibauer are going to be facing a new Monarchs pitcher. It'll be Brendan Lovell checking on to pitch for Lane Schnitz-Paxton. The right-hander delivers his first pitch of the inning. That's a slide piece outside for ball 1. Brendan Lovell is 6'2", 185 pounds, a righty from Scotts, Michigan, and plays baseball at Western Michigan. 1-0 fastball outside, 2 balls and no strikes on Pellis. 2 walks today for Pellis. He also has been rung up once. Good numbers from Lane Schnitz-Paxton once again here tonight. 2-0. Pounded into the dirt to short. Lambeau going towards third base. Throws off balance in time to get the speedy Tommy Pellis. 6-3 put out begins the bottom of the 8th inning. So it'll be up to the Monarchs bullpen to try and keep this margin where it's at, 6-2. Josh Parks will dig in another time. Has reached first base all 3 times here tonight, but has not gone further than that. Parks was hit by a pitch in the 2nd, walked in the 4th, and grounded into a fielder's choice in the 6th. The pitch, fastball at the knees, inside corner, strike 1. When you think about a diamond like this here at Fifth Third Field in Toledo, players routinely coming here that are just a step away from the major leagues. 0-1 bounces in, ball one. So players on the way up still trying to make it for the first time, or those that have made it and have come back down. Both the opposition and the Toledo Mud Hens. 1-1. Fastball, that one's hit deep to right field. And backing up on it, Keegan Watson makes the catch. Ball hit hard. Keegan Watson makes the put out, and there are two gone. Now here in the home half of the eighth. Keegan Watson checked in for Andrew Dyke. Appears to be this inning. Hadn't seen him before this frame. And Dyke did bat in the eighth. Pitches low, ball one. So that is definitely the change. 2 outs here. The first 2 men retired by Lovell. Out of the line, the 1-0. Fastball stays off the plate, 2-0. Brendan Lovell has a 2-0 record with a 3.75 earned run average. Pitching in his 11th game. 24 innings, 25 Ks, 9 walks, 22 hits allowed. 2-0, tapped off the foot of Nybauer. And slightly down the first base line, 2-1. The last appearance for Lovell was not good. Came against the Grand Lake Mariners on a night that just wasn't good for the Monarchs in general. Lovell allowed 6 runs, 5 earned, in 4 innings pitched. 8 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Faced a season-high 22. But he really was put in a tough spot, having to check in the second inning. 2-1, taken for strike 2 by Nybauer. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dylan McInerney that night was only able to pitch 1+ before Lovell had to come in and pitch 4 innings, and then Bischoff pitched the final 3 to end what was a 14-3 win for the Mariners. Deuce's wild pitch off the outside corner. Full count on Nick Nybauer. The base is empty in the bottom of the 8th. 6-2 Monarchs. First base side of the rubber, Lovell deals. And Nybauer is able to fight one off, lining one off the facade of the suite level down the third base side. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Season has moved quickly, hasn't it? Just 10 games remaining for the Monarchs after tonight. 3-2 fastball, high and away, ball 4. 7-pitch walk given to Nick Nybauer. And that will continue things here in the bottom of the 8th in a 6-2 game. Keegan Watson did check in this inning in right field. That is the only change, though, for the Monarchs defensively. Here's Zach Freiling. Pitch to him. And he chased a high and in fastball. 0-1. Freiling 1 for 3, singled and scored in the 7th inning on the Furnace RBI double. Just past 8:30 here at Fifth Third Field. 0-1, runner takes off. It's a ball low and away, and throw is offline. Stolen base for Nick Nybauer. Sensible decision to get aggressive here. You're down 4 and need runs. Nybauer with his 7th stolen base in 8 tries now this year. So he's been a sneaky good base stealer. Break even from Lovell. Inside corner strike. 1-2 on Zach Freiling. So we're approaching the 2.5-hour mark. Sun is continuing to set in the west, and the lights will be creeping into effect here shortly. A 1-2 on the way. Curveball, swing and a miss, strike 3. Goudreau will tag out Freiling. He is down on strikes for the 2nd time, and Brendan Lovell is able to toss a scoreless bottom of the 8th, working around a walk. Time for the 9th. Monarchs looking to add on to a 6-2 lead. You are listening to Lake Erie Monarchs Baseball on monarchsradio.com. Top of the 9th inning, Jordan Nwogu leads things off for the Lake Erie Monarchs. 6-2, Monarchs lead it. In the 4 half innings that runs have been scored tonight, 2 runs have been scored in each. Monarchs with 2 in the first, second, and the 4th, and they scored 2 in the bottom of the 7th to the Irish Hills Leprechauns. They get an inning out of Grant Kirsch. He's going to check out, and now Austin Calipetro will be seen by the second time this year. Monarchs will see him for the second time this year. Calipetro, a University of Toledo Rocket. And the pitch is a strike to Jordan Nwogu. Designated hitter is 1 for 3 with a sac fly today. He tripled in the first and scored. Pop out and a line out since. Here it comes. And swing and a miss. Couldn't catch up to it was Nwogu. No balls and 2 strikes. Austin Calipetro, 6'4", 205 pounds. Toledo Rocket is an upcoming sophomore. 0-2 is a hit hard, but right at Parks, the right fielder. On a line. Puts it away for out number 1. Also, the other Monarchs defensive change in that last inning, Jake Goudreau checked in to catch after pinch hitting in the inning. Calipetro's numbers have been great through 7 previous appearances. No record, a 1.55 ERA. 5 saves this year. Calipetro delivers a strike that's fouled back by Lambo. Lambo with a single and a walk tonight. 2 strikeouts as well, 1 for 3 officially. Calipetro has thrown 17 in the 3rd innings, 23 strikeouts, 8 walks, 14 hits allowed. 0-1 low and away. Backhanded by the catcher Neibauer. 1-1. Monarchs saw him July 5th. Austin Calipetro earned a save on that night against the Monarchs in Flat Rock, saving the opener of that series. Calipetro from the stretch, 1-1. And a fly ball hit pretty deep towards right center. Parks and Pilot cruising over. It will be Parks. Out number 2. 2 quick outs in the 9th for the Monarchs. And that'll bring up Casey Slattery, who will bat for the first time today. Casey Slattery hitting 130 with 4 RBIs. 24th game he has appeared in, but has not hit the baseball as well as he would have liked. Fastball high and away, ball 1. Robert Bell before him went 1 for 4 with a single tonight. Out of the 3 spot in the order, make it 4 spot in the order. 1-0 fastball high and away, 2-0. Austin Calipetro on July 5th against the Monarchs through 2 1/3 innings, allowed an unearned run, a hit, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. Faced 11. 2-0. Cut and a miss. Slattery behind a hard ball. 2-1. He has saves this year in 5 of his 7 previous appearances. This is not a save situation, though. The 2-1 to Slattery at the knees. Buckled him. 2-2. Due up in the bottom of the 9th. 8, 9, and 1 in the order for the Leprechauns, who are looking to rally. Down 6-2. Bases empty here in the top of the 9th. The pitch. Downstairs. Full count on Slattery. Slattery, the left-handed batter. Calipetro, the right-handed pitcher. Monarchs have a man warming up down the first base side. Might be Alex Tice again. He was up and warming earlier. 3-2. Upstairs, ball 4. And Calipetro will walk his 9th man of the year. Slattery gets on. And that will bring up Casey O'Laughlin. O'Laughlin 0 for 3. Was hit by a pitch in the 3rd. His last time up, grounded into a 3-6-3 double play to end the 7th. 6-2 Monarchs in the ninth. Fastball low and away, kicks away, and Slattery will move up on the wild pitch. Calapitro's fastball. Back to punch. But too much of a punch, and it got away from Neibauer. Grant Kirsch in his 1 inning out of the pen in relief of Banks and Spezia. Faced 5, struck out 1, worked around 2 hits and threw 14 pitches. 1-0 is a little nubber over to third. Moving to his left is Miller, scooping, throwing in time. Out number 3. And the Monarchs will leave a man at second base in scoring position. Austin Calapitro turns in another scoreless frame. That's just the norm for him this year. Last chance for the Leprechauns here at Fifth Third Field coming up in the bottom of the ninth. And the Monarchs have the 6-2 lead. You are listening to Monarchs Baseball. Third pitcher of the night for the Lake Erie Monarchs is Alex Tice, and he looks to keep the score right where it's at. 6-2 here in the bottom of the ninth. What a tremendous night it has been for the Lake Erie Monarchs. Getting out in front early and just not letting Irish Hills back in. Adam Furness will take a fastball high for ball 1. So a bit of a strategic decision as well by Tim Brown and Brad Merritt to bring on the lefty to face 2 lefties right out of the gate. 1-0, swing and a miss. Furness behind a fastball, 1-1. Adam Furness has been good in the back half of this game. Grounded out in the third, singled in the 5th, and doubled home run in the 7th. 1-1. And a liner back to the screen and slightly to the left of home. 1-2. Irish Hills being out hit 13-5 tonight, down 6-2 in the game. Alex Tice making his 9th appearance. 1-2, hit him on the forearm. Actually hit him on that forearm guard, it appears. You could hear the little crack through our crowd mic. Leadoff man is on for Irish Hills here in the bottom of the ninth. Not exactly what the Monarchs wanted here. And now you bring up Max Mahone, who's going to pinch hit for Preston Pilot. Smart decision here. It's surprising that Max Mahone did not play or get the start here today with all his numbers. But the 6'2", 255-pound upcoming junior from Davis and Elkins College, one of the best hitters in the league, is going to pinch hit with a man at first, nobody out against the lefty Alex Tice. The pitch, way high, ball 1. Brendan Lovell walked 1, struck out 1, faced 4 in the 8th, and got 3 outs, throwing 17 pitches. But Tice comes in for him here in the 9th. 1-0. Mahone chased a high and in fastball. Ball and a strike. Mahone hitting .327, 6 homers, and 24 runs batted in. Had a great campaign. Had a good night last night, did Mahone. Well, everyone did for the Leprechauns. 1-1 was high and tight. 2 balls and a strike. Mahone had an RBI double in the first to bring in the first run of the game, which started the 18-1 onslaught. He also had an RBI single in the fourth. 2-1. Nicks the outer edge. Gaunt looking is Mahone. He even counted 2-2. He clarifies with the home plate umpire where that was. Tice gets the sign from Goudreau, the backstop, and comes home. High and away. Full count on Max Mahone, the pinch hitter. First substitution of the night other than pitchers for the Leprechauns. Max Mahone donning the number 20 on the back of his jersey. 3-2. Fouled off in the air over the netting behind home. 7th pitch of the at-bat will be coming from Alex Tice. A righty up and warming down there. It's Nate Haw, who has come in some high leverage situations before this year. 3-2. Fastball at the knee, strike 3. Mahone is rung up. Great location from Alex Tice, gets the strikeout. 8th strikeout of the night for the Monarchs pitching staff, and that's his first. 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th. Monarchs 6, Leprechauns 2. A man is at first with 1 out. And now Noah Suarez. Back to the top of the order for the Leprechauns. Suarez, though, has not had a great night. 0 for 3 with a walk. Level stance, waving the bat. First one way high, ball 1. So it almost appears that Haw will be ready just in case he's needed. They're probably going to try and have Tice close this one down. If Haw comes in, I think it becomes a safe situation if a runner's on. 1-0 is high, ball 2. Tice, with an 0-1 record, a 3.06 ERA. His 9th appearance, like I was mentioning. He has 2 previous starts. Both were at the start of the year. But he has been filthy good out of the bullpen. 2-ball pitch upstairs, and that one missed by a long shot. 3-0. 14 2/3 innings pitched, 26 strikeouts, 12 walks, 9 hits allowed. And earned himself a trip to the All-Star game at Prasco Park in Mason on Tuesday. Lowers the glove to his stomach. 3-0. Get over pitch for strike 1. Inside corner at the knees. Last appearance came against the Xenia Scouts on Thursday. Tossed a scoreless inning, allowed a hit, a walk, and 3 strikeouts, faced 5. 3-1. High and away, ball 4. A hit by pitch and a walk in this inning for Alex Tice. Up to second base goes Adam Furness. Now you start to get worried because if the next man gets on to load the bases, you have the tying run at the plate, and you're dealing with the meat of this order right now, that being Thomas Miller. Nate Haw is ready. Is that going to do it for Tice? Yes, it will. So Tice is going to end up facing just 3 here today. And he's responsible for both the men on the bases, as Nate Haw will come in here for the Lake Erie Monarchs. So a hit batsman for Alex Tice. Goes a third of an inning through 16 pitches here tonight. And he has 2 men on base against him. Both his responsibility. So we'll keep it right here as Nate Haw will get ready to go. Again, fans, we want to remind you to make sure to follow the Lake Erie Monarchs on Twitter at GLL_Monarchs. Our man Brendan Molnar is normally our statistician doing the live tweeting today, doing a great job as always in what he does. helping us out here at Fifth Third Field. He gets a pretty nice view next to me in the press box, the visitors booth here at the home of the Toledo Mud Hens. So the gig has not been too bad for him tonight, to say the least. GLL_Monarchs, that's our Twitter page. Facebook, Lake Erie Monarchs. Also, LakeErieMonarchs.com. We'll have a recap for you after the game tonight. You can also find a link to our YouTube page through LakeErieMonarchs.com. Go to the Multimedia tab, and you'll find it in there. We uploaded last night's game, which I know was not a game that the Monarchs really want to remember, but it is on there. Also on there is Robert Bell's pregame, and we look to get a postgame interview as well with a Monarchs player coming up here after what we're hoping is a win tonight. 6-2 is the score. Alex Tice has not allowed a run out of the bullpen for the Monarchs since he changed from being a starter. But Nate Haw is going to have to do the job to keep that the case. Haw is 6'2", 198 pounds, from Waterville, Ohio. An upcoming sophomore. And the Rocket will look to knot things down. Swing, pop-up, foul ground, first base side, hit by Thomas Miller, and that will go into the netting for strike one. Right on top of that first base dugout, which the Monarchs are occupying tonight. So an 0-1 count on Thomas Miller. 6-2 game, bottom of the ninth, runners at first and second. Haw becomes the fourth pitcher of the night for Lake Erie. Thomas Miller has been on all 4 times tonight, but he is just 2 for 4. Reached on error and grounded into a fielder's choice for the outs. Doubled and singled. He lines one hard, foul down the first base line. That'll get into the second level of seats, way down there. 2 balls, 2 strikes, kind of down by the Swamp Shop sign, the official merchandise store of the Mud Hens. 0-2. And a curveball skips away from Jake Goudreau to the backstop. Wild pitch from Nate Haw allows the runners to move up 90 feet. Noah Suarez up to second, and up to third goes Adam Furness. First wayward pitch of the night for the Monarchs staff. The 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. Grounded back to the screen. Keep the count the same at 1-2. Lights coming into effect now more and more. So we're approaching the 9 o'clock hour here in Toledo on this Sunday evening. Still very warm tonight on this July 15th. Can't believe it's already the middle of July. 1-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Nate Haw gets a huge punch out as Thomas Miller finally will not get on a base for the first time tonight. Boy, he's a hard out. But the Monarchs aren't out of the woods yet. They are an out away from a victory here, as Nate Haw is seeking a save. 6-2, Monarchs lead the Leprechauns, bottom of the ninth. Runners at second and third. Swing and a pop-up foul. First base side by Gunnar Rainey. Strike 1. Rough night for Gunnar Rainey. 0 for 4 with 2 Ks. Nate Haw is looking to keep it that way. Looking for his second save of the season. This is his 9th appearance, no record with a 3.6 ERA. 0-1, swing and a miss. Down to their final strike now are the Leprechauns. 10 innings pitched, 12 strikeouts, 3 walks, 11 hits. Hasn't pitched in 2 days. Pitched a scoreless and perfect inning against the Scouts on Friday night in Xenia. 0-2, low and away. Just missing the mark. Tough one for Rainey to lay off of, but he was able to do so. Waiting on deck, hoping for a chance, is Tommy Pellis. The Monarchs do not want that. 1-2. Curveball, swing and a miss, strike 3. And that's the ball game. Nate Haw comes in to slam the door on the Irish Hills Leprechauns, and the Monarchs, who lost the season series last night by falling 18-1. They battle back here at this gem of a ballpark, Fifth Third Field in Toledo, Ohio, to wrap up a 6-2 victory here tonight. Time of game, it wraps up at 8:55, so we have a 2-hour and 43-minute game here at Fifth Third Field tonight. As the Monarchs get the W, these teams will shake hands one final time unless they both make it to the play-in game, which is not very likely with the way the Lima Locos and the St. Clair Green Giants are playing baseball. So the battle for the mitten this year, it goes to the Leprechauns 3-1, but the Monarchs get the last laugh. They win the last battle, but not the war. Winner tonight, Lane Schnitz-Paxton, improving that record to 4-2. Nate Haw will pick up his second save of the season. Pierce Banks, who hadn't started since June 30th, will take the loss, falling to 4-1 on the season. Again, the time of game, 2 hours and 43 minutes. Let's take a look at some of those other totals for you. 6 runs on 13 hits. An error for the Lake Erie Monarchs, and they leave 8 men on the base paths. While on the other side of things for the Irish Hills Leprechauns, they get 2 runs on 5 hits, no errors. They had less opportunities tonight, but they did leave a lot of runners late. They end up leaving 10 on the base path, so actually more than I initially thought they left on base here tonight. But the Lake Erie Monarchs, they get it done, and now they will head to the All-Star break at least a little happier with the way today's results played out. 4 Monarchs will go to the All-Star game, and Kyle Bischoff will throw a bullpen session as well while he's there in front of scouts. Jordan Nwogu, Lane Schnitz-Paxton, Alex Tice, and also Griffin Mazer. Congrats to those 4. And they are now heading to Mason, Ohio for the All-Star game coming up on Tuesday. Monarchs are not back in action until they take on the Lima Locos, and that game will be on Thursday night at 7:05. The Irish Hills Leprechauns, their next game on the road against the Grand Lake Mariners on Thursday evening. So that is the story from Fifth Third Field here in Toledo, Ohio. Thanks so much for tuning in to this broadcast tonight. Monarchs win it by a final count of 6-2 over the Leprechauns. I am Kevin Peel saying good night from downtown Toledo, Ohio. You have been listening to Lake Erie Monarchs Baseball on monarchsradio.com. Good night, everyone.